Hey guys, welcome to day 4 of game development with JavaScript. So basically the last part where we went off, we actually completed our memory game, and I had asked you guys to kind of increase the difficulty levels, and one of it was including a higher number of matching, that is 3 tiles at a time. And here we can actually do another thing. I also told that we could add a timer here. So this timer thing, let's implement this timer thing. I will implement it for you and push it to GitHub. So let's do that. We'll have a basically what we will do. We will have a timer of around. If your difficulty level is this, it will take about 5 minutes. But if you're unable to complete it within that stipulated time, then the game is over and you need to start from the very beginning. So let's do that. Basically, after we can do this thing and then we will move on to our next game. So what we can do here is, so I'm supposed to create a timer. So there will be the first thing we'll do, we will have a div, obviously, that will show our timer. So for the HTML part of the game, let's add it here. Let me give it a p tag, and to make work easier, we are doing it like this. I'm sorry, I do it to your timer. So within this, we'll have a timer for the first. Even before the timer is loaded, let's keep it as 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Hours is a huge thing, so let's keep the hours thing as well. Let's put it this way. This is my timer. We have a space. I'm putting just a header. Then this is needed. So what will I do here? Basically, if I provide my time, so I will have a timer thing. Uh, After the DOM content has loaded. Wait a minute. I think this is the wrong one. Give me a minute. Yeah, right. Basically, I had created this before, and it was actually the other one. So the duplication thing, the one that we did where we had three of them in a card. This that one. Let me start this one up. Better. So here we will add that HTML structure. I will have the ID of timer. Now what I need to do is need to start the timer. So basically if I give 5 minutes, it will go on, and it will go as in 4 minutes 59 seconds, 4 minutes 50 seconds, like that. So this is my idea here. So how can I actually do that? So basically what will I do? I will simply take my current time. My basic idea is I will take my current time and I will add about 5 minutes to it, and then the difference that happens, I will keep on re-rendering it. Like every time my time decreases, I will keep on showing it again and again. So here we need to use a few things that are provided by JavaScript itself. So one of it is date. JavaScript provides us with a date object. So this provides me with the current date. Let me write this. Let what will I give you? Today equal to new day. If I console log this, we'll see that what's being printed out. See the current date. Today's date is given. The date, time, basically a complete date string has been provided to us. From this date, I can also get other things like if I do get day. Well, since it is 4 means it is this is done in a particular way that if I my it is it 4 it's 4 that means my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes, Monday is 1, Tuesday is 2, Wednesday is 3, and Thursday is 4. Since today is Thursday, it's 4. Other than that, I can have hours as well. So hours is an 18. 18 as in it is even in the 12-hour form, 24-hour format. It's 12 plus 6, 18. We'll get the minutes as well, the seconds as well, as expected. Means is 45 and what are the seconds are. So this is what we'll use here because we will require that thing. So my basic idea here is to let me show you what I can do here. Whatever my enter time is, I mean the deadline, let deadline or time. Okay. Let time. I will add it, put it in seconds. So if I have a 5 minute, if it's supposed to be 5 minutes, I will give it a time of 5 into 60. 5 into 60. And do this. Let countdown time is equal to. So basically, what will I do? I will set the time from when this DOM has loaded. Once my page has loaded, what I will do? I will take my current time. I will set my time to about it will be after 5 minutes. So means whatever the number seconds are. And after I have set the time, that time will be present in countdown time. And after that, I will continuously keep on subtracting the countdown time with the current time. So basically, if I subtract something 5 minutes apart, and so basically providing a time that is 5 minutes apart. And after that, if I am deducting it from my current time, it will give me, what will it give me back? The remaining time. So if it is now 6:47, if I in here I will try to add something that will give me 6:52, and then when I go to my when I will try to subtract this time from the current time. So after when it becomes 6:48, then it will give me 4 minutes. So this thing will be the same, and I will keep on subtracting it from the current time. So how can I do that? Basically, first I'm supposed to set the time that is after 5 minutes from now. So what I will do, since I'm taking it in seconds, time in seconds, I will, there is something called set seconds. So what is it doing? It is increasing the time. So my new date, what will it be? And in today dot set seconds, I'm writing today dot get seconds. So I'm taking the current date, current time, and taking that seconds and adding the total number of seconds that I want. You get the idea? Like since it is 300, it will to this whatever seconds will be added present here to it 300 will be added, and the new date will be set by using set seconds. So that means my new date is something that is defined. If you want, I can check the log as well. If I check today dot get seconds here, let me do countdown time. countdown time, and the other will be today.getSeconds. I'll do it here. This is actually given in milliseconds. Whatever you're getting it here, it is given in milliseconds, and after that we will have to keep on changing. So let's now get into what we will get into. We will get into trying to decreasing this time now with the present day. So what I will do now, there is something here. So basically, what I need to do, I need to keep on this countdown time. It should be declared at the very beginning once my DOM tree is loaded. However, after that, this shouldn't change. However, what is supposed to change? After every second, I am supposed to call a function. See, this thing is going to keep on decreasing. Basically, what we are doing here is we are trying to create a timer. That's all. We are trying to create a countdown timer. So what I'm supposed to on every second, I'm supposed to call a particular function where it will compare my current time. After every second, the current time will be compared with the earlier countdown time. So this means I need to have a function that will keep on calling after every second. Since my timer is supposed to be updated every second, so that means I need to have a function that should be called every second. So how can I do that? Uh, Earlier we used something called set timeout here. So set timeout was something that was provided by JavaScript, and what did it do? It called a particular function after a stipulated time that I've already provided. There is another function that is provided by JavaScript, the browser, and that is set interval. So set interval, what does it do? This set interval function, while the difference between set timeout and set interval is set timeout calls a function after a particular time only once. However, set interval calls a function after a particular time and it keeps on calling it. So if I write something like function update timer, and this update timer, it also takes the same thing. It takes one function as the first parameter, and the second parameter is the time in milliseconds. I'm supposed to update my timer after every 1 second, so 1000 milliseconds. Now what should it give? See, update timer. So this is being called continuously. So it is becoming 7, 8, 9. So after every second. Now if I do it as 2000, it will keep on updating after 2 seconds. Once. Again after 2 seconds is coming. The space is lower. So this is the idea here. So I am going to call a function within this. So this will be one, and I will be calling a function within this. Basically the calculation of comparing my current time. So that means after every second my current time is changing. However, since the countdown time thing is outside this function, it should remain the same. So within this I will again have to take something called as I am putting it a now variable, which will give me my present time. New date or date time. This is the current time and it is changing after every second. This now what I will do, let difference. The difference will be calculated between countdown time minus now. So basically, what will it do? After every second, whatever is coming now, since it is six in layman terms, this is supposed to be for the time being 658. So after every second, so second I can't say like 658, 57. So since here it is 658, 653, 01, 02. So it will calculate the difference between the two and give something back in milliseconds. So this value is given back in milliseconds. Let's we can actually see this. So if I do console log difference, we'll say It is updating. So the milliseconds thing is because it's very difficult. So we will first convert it to minutes and seconds, and then you will see how it's actually work. So since I need to convert the milliseconds to hours first. Here I'm since it is continuously changing, so we already know I have the difference between the two. Now I need to convert this to hours. So what I will do here is the method flow difference. So up till this part, basically, I have to get this idea that we are supposed to divide the difference by the hours thing. So 1 hour is 60 minutes, and then 60 seconds, and I'm converting to milliseconds. So I'm dividing it by this so that I'm getting this particular value. However, the reason of doing this here, this match.floor thing is because sometimes the mod value needs to be done because by dividing, I don't want the decimal thing to come back to me. I want just the integer value. So because milliseconds, if you I actually console log that thing, I console log this. So basically, it was causing some problems because see, this is a huge number, and it will return values in decimals. So I want to give an integer value, and that should be the float one. Like what does math.float do? If you have something like math.float, and then what will I say that 8.54, so it will return 8. My float is supposed to give the rounded down value of a decimal. So once the decimal is obtained by after mod and all, and then it returns a rounded down value. So the same thing we will be doing for the minutes and seconds as well. Minutes will be the same, just a difference in the 24th. So this is how we are obtaining the minutes and the seconds, hours, minutes, and the seconds. And the thing is, I'm supposed to now show these. So let's see basically. First of all, let's check this out. Uh, Hours is first, then minutes. This is the hours, minutes, and the seconds. Now I need to add this to my register. Now I need to update my timer every time. See, I am getting the value in JavaScript, it's fine. But now I need to update my timer as well. So my timer's ID is this. So I will update it by using dot inner HTML. Inner HTML is for updating. So it will be timer plus hours will be there. 8 1 minutes, 60 minutes plus finally 40 seconds will be seconds. So something is wrong with this. Wait a minute. So let me give some spaces as well. Hours, minutes, seconds. Basically, we didn't want this pointing this decimal thing. However, this decimal is still coming. So let's see why is it not working. Let's check this out. It's again not. So we need to remove the decimal part. We can do that. Why is it not working here? Yes. Mostly the math.float isn't put correctly. That can be the only reason because I'm using math.float for that purpose only. Yeah, actually, that's the case here. That's better. Basically, this entire thing by this and the entire thing's math.float. So that was the case. We actually didn't. I didn't put the brackets correctly. Float is basically whatever value is written. After that, I'm doing math.float because I don't want the decimal to stay right. So this is my idea here. This will work much better now. So I gave 30 seconds. That's why it's working this way. So let me make it 300 minutes. 300 seconds. Basically 5 minutes. So it's going 4 minutes 50. Basically the time for loading 4 minutes 54 seconds, and after that all those. So you can see that we have this timer thing already correctly done. So this is how we have implemented this thing. Now what we should do uh, is this thing completely done. So we can check this out. Let's change it to 10 seconds. Simply. Let's wait for 10 seconds. So this getting to minus. So that was this is the point here. Now we need to stop our counter as well. Once the difference gets decreased. So how when did it change? When the difference changed, let's check it again. I am console logging the difference here. From this position, it starts changing. So when the difference gets lesser than 0, at that time we need to stop our interval as well. So get the idea, like we are supposed to stop this function from executing once it goes less than 0. So how can we now stop our function, stop our interval, basically this timer thing? So basically we can do this. Uh, we will for this we need to provide this value. This let I can say timer interval. Interval. Let timer interval. I am putting this value. Basically, I put the set interval inside a variable because now I need to clear this interval. There is something called clear interval. What it does when I do something like this, it will stop the calling. So using this function, we can stop this from getting called after a particular condition. And in this case, what will happen? Basically, on the very first time it stopped. You see, because I since I have not given any condition here, let me again run it. 10 seconds it was, and then basically 0 means 0 seconds was given before, then it is 10 seconds, and once it runs and becomes 9 seconds, it gets clear, because this thing is running, and after the first time it is stopping here. And if I, so that means what I need to do, I need to put this inside a condition, and that condition should be, if, as I said, the difference, if difference is less than 0, only then will I do this thing. So now you see, now it will work, it will not get to the minus part. Oh no. So it got to the minus part, it did stop, but there was some issue with this. Basically it changed, and less than 0, basically it actually called this part and then stopped. So we need to overcome this thing as well. So instead of doing that, what we can do, to overcome this, let's provide a value here. Basically the last value I don't want it to show here. Once it is becoming minus, I don't want it to show here. So we can do something like, let's show a value timer up kind of text. So document ID timer dot init HTML times up. Let's see what happens here. Times up. Now basically once it got to the minus part, I didn't allow it to show, because after that I also changed it to inner HTML and times up thing. So this one works perfectly fine. So in case you get the idea why I had to use this variable and put the function inside this variable, because for set intervals this should be done at every time. Every time this should be done, because I need to clear my interval. I don't want it to go on working indefinitely. So in cases where there is no condition like it should be less than 0, this clear interval is normally called when my program stops. So I will, when I change the page or go to some other page, I will call clear interval to clear this entire timer part. So this one is done, and now there are a few other things that we should be doing here, because when I'm doing this, let's start. So I have this. See, now I am still able to click things. So what was the problem here? I am supposed to click 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, fine. 1, 2. Okay. The problem is once my time is up, I am still able to play here. See, and these two cards should have gone back to flip back, and I shouldn't be able to play anymore. So I'm still able to play even when the time is up. So what I need to do, what are the other things that we need to do here? I need to click on them. I need to prevent this clicking. First of all, I need to prevent this clicking after the time is up. Secondly, I should show a alert here that will say my time is up, game is over, and my score is this. I need to show that one. Other than that, I need to change this back to the blank state, and also prevent clicking of these buttons and prevent playing. Only I can again start playing once my page is again refreshed. So these are few of the things that we again need to do here. So how can I do that thing now? Basically, once my game is over, I will also give an what I will say. In times up, after time is up, let me give something called alert games games over, your score. This is one thing that I can do. However, that is not enough. I need to change this back to the earlier part as well. So basically, whatever is selected here, I need to as we did before. So this time also I need to set their attributes. So that means again I need to get access of all these cards now. I need to again to get access of the cards. We already knew we had done it before. We did const cards equal to document dot query selector, then query selector, and what was it? Image. So query selector all because I need all of the cards. Now after this, I will again loop over my entire card array into 0. To this, I will set the attribute of the particular card. So basically, I know that the IDs of them are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So whichever card, even though any of the cards are selected, what I will do instead, I am not actually checking which of the cards are chosen. Instead, I am changing all of the attributes to blank. Then I don't need to put another function here, which will check the which one has been flipped over. So this is one thing. So if I do this, it should be done. Let's wait here. So my game's over, my score is 0. When I click on OK, what happens? It is again changing back. It is again changing back to this part. But the thing is, we are still able to click here. See, we are still able to click them. So I need to remove the event listeners as well. So to remove the event listener, the same thing. Cards I dot remove event listener. Click and then that will remove that function. So I don't want flip to be called on this function. Also, I want the score to be reset to 0. So I will change the score to 0. So let's see what's happening here again. Let me click this. So these have turned and now I'm clicking on this and they are not working. So my idea is whatever I wanted to implement here is working now. And what are the other things that I can actually do here? So I need basically when time's up, so I want to show a restart game kind of thing. So there will be a button that will click on clicking on restart, then again my timer will start working. That is one of the things. And the other thing is, look at this. See, when I'm refreshing my page, once basically when my page is loaded for the first time, my timer starts working at the very beginning. So my game gets over here. So a user, when he is opening a website, he should have a functionality where he will start the game. On starting the game, only then I can start working on this. Basically, I will start playing the game. I don't want to continue like once I've opened something, I will start playing it. That doesn't make sense. So I should have a start game kind of functionality and a restart game functionality. So how can I do that? It's very simple. Basically, we will be for call what the functionality part is done. Now we need to simply use particular buttons and call those particular functions on a certain button click. So before timer, here I will have a button which will have an ID of what I can say start, the start button, start. And I'm not putting the restart game button here because the restart game button should be visible to the user only when once the game is over or your time's up or any of them. Only then should it be done. So I will be adding that dynamically, right? Now let me go back to script. Let's do the start one part. Start one. What I can do is, first of all, I need to access that button on start button, document dot use the query selector itself. Can use query selector or get element by ID, any of them. Start. And on clicking this, we should be starting our timer. So that means, let me first add my event listener to this. Start button dot add event listener. Click. Let me have a function named start game. Okay, start game functionality. So what should it be doing here? Function start game should be having my entire timer. So basically the timer should be loaded once within the start game part. So let me take this to the everything, all those that are required here. Will time in seconds too. It should be inside start game. Start game. Writing this below. Let me remove that one. Within this, that should be present. The entire. I hope that's working now. So you see the timer has not yet loaded, else it would have started with 10 seconds. So I'm clicking on start game. The timer has started working. There was a display problem in displaying. So basically that's why it happened. So let me change it to time in seconds. So here's a 5 minutes as we wanted. There's a problem in the loading time. That's it. Start game. This whatever we are doing, it's fine. So this will continue until the time's up. Another thing is, what at the before restarting, you see there is another thing here. I need to prevent this as well. Even before starting the game, I shouldn't be able to click this. So what I can do instead, I won't even create my board before. Only of starting the game, the timer will start and this thing will also come. That can be a possibility. So what I can do, I won't even have the timer. Only I'm starting the game, my timer will also come. This thing will also come. And I could even do this one. I'm not changing it right now, but you guys can change it. So what I can do, I will call the create grid functionality as well later. Like create grid was being called on DOM content loaded. So I will call create grid inside start game. So here I will call create grid. Perfect. So now it is not showing here. When I click on start game, my board comes, my timer comes, and I can start playing. And you can see that the times up functionality was still fine. It was working perfectly. Now the last thing is I need to restart my game as well. So I need to restart my game. For restarting again, the same thing. Now I need to basically on restarting, on clicking on restart, I will simply reload my page. That's all. On reloading the page, my memory game will come back to the earlier version. So I will be creating an element here. So because I told that it will be dynamic, so what we can do is, and the restart game functionality, that thing is supposed to come once my time is up. So I need to put this inside this thing, inside this difference bar after the alert is shown. So the same thing now. Now I will create a button on restart button document dot create element to the button as expected. We need to provide a value to that children, to that child, but I need to add a value in the children part. So for that I'm using inner HTML to give the name of the button, which will be restart game. Start game. And to this restart button, I will be adding the event listener is of play restart game will be the name of my function. So what does restart game do? Function restart. Let me write this function outside of this interval. It will look better instead of keeping on increasing this. Basically, I will reload my entire page. So this can be done using something provided by JavaScript itself, which is window. Window is the object name of the entire thing. Window.location.reload true. So using this, what will happen when I click on restart, my entire page will get reloaded. I won't click on the refresh button. So basically the button is on and now I need to append this. Variable to document.body dot append child restart button. So let's refresh. Nothing is there. The restart button, nothing is there. I started the game. The restart button is not present down under anywhere. So when my time is up, my restart game button comes here. So I could have it here as well, wherever I want. Basically now I need, that all depends on where I'm trying to append it. That depends on it. So when I click on, see now it's not clickable. The times up is being shown. All these buttons are being done. Now if I can also click on start game, but instead I click on restart game. On clicking on restart, my page gets reloaded. That's the, so this is the entire idea behind doing this. And I don't think anything else is left for this game. So basically this entire thing now you can, it all depends on you. You can change the seconds, it will keep on working. 6 seconds, 3 minutes, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever. So basically you need to provide the time in seconds. So you could do, what you can do, you will have buttons like difficulty level easy, medium. Clicking on easy will it give a higher time. Clicking on difficult will give a lower time. That's all. So actually we are over with this game. I will, let me push this to the to GitHub. Added timer. So we are done with the memory game. Now we will be starting with the next one. Let me close this entirely. So the next thing that we'll be doing, so we'll be creating a snake game. Basically, the ones that we used to play in our younger days in the Nokia mobiles. So basically, we'll be creating a snake game. That snake is supposed to move around, and it will keep on eating the food, and this length will increase, and blah blah blah, and all those things will happen. So we are supposed to achieve that thing in our game, and we will be obviously doing it in completely vanilla JavaScript, no libraries and whatsoever. So let me create a directory for that. Yeah. So as expected, we will be obviously creating three files: index.html, index.js, index.css. So let's quickly just set up the file here, HTML file. Where it is snake game. Let me link the scripts to it as well. We have link equal to href index.css, and I will have a script tag which will have a sfc of index. So the linking is done. Now within body, what will I have? Let's think about this. Like, what should I have in the body? So I have this entire page here. It should be of a particular color, whatever. And I will, the board should be present. That is the game board. And within that, you see, because the snake body and the food, basically there will be what will be the entire approach for this. I will have my snake that will keep on moving, first thing. So my entities in my entire application will be a snake, and there will be a food particle. Now what happens, the snake starts at the middle mostly, and the food particle is actually shown randomly at separate different places. So the first time it is shown here and then here. So these are a few of the things that should be present in my entire board. What is this? Okay. So these are few of the things that should be present. Then that means my snake will also keep on changing dynamically. It will keep on changing position, and my food particle will also keep on changing position. That means I don't need to add it statically here. So the only thing I will have here will be my entire deep structure, basically my board, the snake board. So let me simply, what can I give it the name as? Snake board. This will be the only thing that should be present here. And basically this board. Now actually the we need to keep a track, like where my snake is continuously moving and moving and moving. So I need to have certain things, like I need to maintain that order. So what I will do, I will create a snake board first, and through that I will provide it different squares, and that will be done with the help of CSS grid. So let me first set up the CSS for this so that you can at least look at something. Index CSS. In index CSS I'm adding it. So this will be my body. I pick the 100 VW. Basically, what does this height and width give? My body should have. What does 100 VH mean? 100 VH means VH is the short form for viewport height, and VW is the short form for viewport width. So that means when I'm taking the body or something, I will provide it a background color so that you guys can easily see it. Give it black. Go live. So this is my entire body. 100 VH means 100 VH is the viewport height, this thing, the entire thing, and VW is the entire. 100 means this entire thing. If it was something else, maybe the body is okay, still okay. Put it as 100 only. Let me show it later. And to the board, so basically, put my aside. To this, the snake board will have a particular width within this. So what I will do, I select snake board. Let me give it something like 100 V min, and height also should be 100 V min. I tell you why. We'll have a background color of white. So this is my entire thing. What is it actually? What this Vmin means? Why I'm using Vmin? So let me center this. Basically, this is not centered. After centering it, I will tell you why. For centering this snake board thing inside the body, you see the snake board is just this part. So I will center it. For centering it, I will use flex. So it will have display flex and justify content of center and align items of center. So using flex, what it does, it actually takes the entire fraction, the entire thing, and then on doing justify content center, it is centering it vertically and horizontally as well, both justify and align items together. Let me provide a margin of 0 so that there is no margin up and down. I remove that margin. And now the reason for giving 100 Vmin for this board, basically what is Vmin? So when I'm doing this, see at a time it's either horizontally or vertically if completely filled. So using vmin means vmin takes the narrower part. So when if my during in this part, what is the height? The is the height mode or the width mode? The width is mode. So vmin means it will take the minimum one in the viewport. So in viewport it will check is the height lesser or the width lesser. So which one is lesser, it will take that one. So in this viewport, my height is less, so it is taking the height and width as the for the height one. Now when I am decreasing my this thing in this way, I am decreasing the width at this position. My height is more, but the width is less. So my height and width of this white part, this is actually the height and width of the minimum one. So minimum width. So my, for example, if my viewport, the body's viewport, body as in this entire thing, this is 1366 and this is, think of it as 768. Okay. So since 768 is the lesser one, so my game board, which is only this part, it will take height and width of 768 px. However, when I'm decreasing it here, in this position, my width is lesser. For example, this is now 700 500, and this is now 7, it is still 768. This is 768, but this is 500. So my this body, what will it take? The width and height will be the lesser one. So now the width and height is 500. So this is the idea behind using vmin, so that one of my places doesn't, it doesn't get very centered. So one of the part always gets completely filled, which is why I use vmin here. So vmin is for taking the minimum of the view. This is the first thing. So we already have this, and now within this I will be creating, see, basically my snake will move around, right, from one grid to another grid to another grid. It will keep on moving one from one row to another row, and then it will go to a column structure. So think of it as a table like structure, this entire thing. If my snake is here, so to move downwards it will move like this, and then this. So I need to have equal number of not even equal, it means how many one I want, I need to have certain columns and rows. So there should be a number of rows and there should be a number of columns, so that my snake will always take one cell at least. So when it is starting out, it is just one cell, and then when it starts growing, it then takes two cells and three cells and four cells. So doing that, why my work gets easier, because I can easily keep track of how many cells should be added to my snake. So for that, I will first divide my entire snake, this snake board into grid. So it will have display of grid, and to give the number of rows and the number of columns, this grid is the particular. This is also part of CSS. So you can read about CSS grids later. And what does it do? It actually divides my entire board, whatever means whichever div I am applying it on, into rows and columns. So how many rows and columns I want, I will put it here. So I will give repeat. It may have 21 rows and 21 columns. I'm telling what this repeat and effort is. So one effort means one fraction. So the all the 21 rows, all the cells in these 21 rows will be equal. Basically, all the 21 rows will be equal. This one side, they will all be same, and the same for the columns. The heights will be of the columns will also be same. So this is the entire idea. Now, if you let me inspect it, and you can see that it is easily understandable. So, okay. If you see my div, look at this div. My div is divided into rows and columns, and these are the whatever the it is looking like this because it is in grid format. So if I remove this grid thing, it wouldn't show the grids anymore. I had to use grids because I wanted to put my snake in one of the boxes and the food particle in one of the boxes and then do this. So this part is done, the CSS part for the board, and now I will have a snake particle. Basically, I will have to show the snake, right, and the food as well. So let's do that. First of all, let's have a snake. Over the background color of and the food should have background color. So let me make it rounded. To make it rounded, I'm giving 50%. Just a minute. Physically, won't be able to see the snake and food now. It will be shown once we do it dynamically. So let's do that. Before that, let me show it here as well. Okay. So if it is field with class of snake, is field dot code. Well, it's not shown right now. So let's see what's wrong. Oh, so right now they don't have a height and width because I'm supposed to. We can use it using the grid as well. So that's let's just put a height and width before for the time being. So this is how this should look. The snake should look like this, and when I take a particle in, it should increase by one, and the food particle looks like this. So let me just remove this right now. We don't need this because we will be doing it using inside the grid. So it will take the size of the grid. Now the first thing that we should be doing here is the first thing I will be doing is I will be re-rendering. Basically, we see when the snake is moving, the snake basically we are re-rendering my entire page, and we don't want that. Like we shouldn't be repainting it over and over and over again. So let's write down a function where we will be moving the snake and updating its position continuously. So like we did in set intervals, like in set interval, I was calling a particular function over and over again, but that was for functions. In this case, I will be using another way, which is a better one, and it is normally used for animations. And since in this we can look at it as an animation, so we will be doing just that. Let's go to indexes. So just a minute. Let's take a break for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Right now. We'll come back. So basically now let's start again. What we will be doing right now. So we are supposed to basically I will have a snake here, right? I will have a cube like structure in the middle, and after that if I will use a proper function called, it is provided from window itself, decrease animation frame. So what will this be doing? This thing actually calls my, it works like set interval only, but it is much better because it takes the current time as well. So basically we will be able to see uh, the by the name, meaning of request animation frame, as the name provides tells us, it means that I am requesting a frame to be shown to me after a particular time. So I can check that after each interval it is being called. So let me write down a function. Let's use this thing. Well, how it is actually written, we write, let me have a function name, which is my main function. Okay, so I'm having a function named main. It has a property of, it has an argument of current time. Okay, so this is something that I am providing the name. And to this I will be calling the main function. So basically window.request animation frame, it takes one parameter only, and that is the function. So it takes a particular function, and actually it checks now it checks how many times this function will be called, and whichever function is called, it gets a property of time, and I can console log this time as well. We console log this time. You will see that this function will keep on getting called after particular intervals. This window that requires animation frame. The again I am saying I am using this. I could have used set interval as well, but why am I not using set interval? For set interval, it is that first of all I need to clear that interval as well. The first thing. Other than that, window request animation frame is much more lightweight. Like set interval takes more time, and in set interval there is something called asynchronicity. If you get into the deeper concepts of JavaScript, and if you already know, then say asynchronous is something that takes a lot of time to work on. So asynchronous is something that we need a lot of, it takes some time, and after that, while that work is being done, I'm doing some other stuff as well. So request animation frame does not take that much load, and that's why we are using this, because we will require the updating of our snake's position, the snake updating of snake food position a lot of time. So let's say like how is this and when is this being called, the only thing. So let's see, you can check the console current time here. Well, we didn't call the first, we need to call it as well. So for the first time, we are calling the main function, and after that, the next time it will again call itself. If on every intervals of current time, we will now check how many times it is being called. We check the console. See, it is continuously increasing. It is being called continuously. This is so basically if this function this will keep on going. So request animation frame is actually in this we will be doing, within this we will be updating our snake's position. That is the main idea behind this. So for this, uh, we need to take other stuff as well, not just this thing. We need to do something like we need to keep a track, like my snake position, like when I will be calling my frame, like I'm calling the next frame. So basically I will be calling a function where I will be asking you to, I'm asking my user to, not the user, I'm asking the JavaScript engine to update the browser to update its code, update the frame and change it. So that means I will require something like where it's not like I will be calling this thing every second. Calling this every second, that means my snake will be moving at a huge pace. So I have the snake here like this, since it is in millisecond, it is continuous, it will continuously keep on changing. So I don't want that. I want that after a particular time interval. So for that I need to have something called, like I need to maintain the last render time as well. So for this I am having something called let last render time, it will be 0, and within this I will be checking basically I will be checking what is my current time, what was my last rendered time, and between the two I will be taking out the difference. After that, that difference, if that difference is less than, basically now I will have something called, this is actually being used to maintain the speed of my function calling. So that means the maintaining the update position of the snake. That means it can also be taken forward as my snake speed. Think about it. My if my you have seen that whenever we are playing that snake game it keeps on changing and changing and changing, right? So that speed keeps on increasing once my points increase or if my difficulty level is higher. That is the idea. So in this place also I will be having something called snake speed, and if that's whatever the speed is, so in if my this changing thing, whatever the difference between the current time and last render time, if that is lesser than my speed, next speed, then only I will call the next function. Else I will, then I will return. Else I will call that next function. So let's just do that. So I'm having something called seconds. Last render will be what, the current time minus my last render time. In second. Like it is that was coming in milliseconds, right? So I will change it to seconds. The first thing, and also I need to update my render time. So the last render time will be my current time. So it is changing, and then this second is last render will work. Now this is actually not over. Now you will see that this thing is working now. Let me console log the, not the current time but the second is last render. This is like 0. I'm getting the seconds thing, so it should be in 0.000 because it is being called in every millisecond. Now what's the requirement here? I will be calling my function depending on my snake speed. So what will I do is I will go to the next line. Basically, this request animation, I will be requesting the calling of, I will again call this function only when if my seconds is last render is less than. Now think of it. How many in now think of this thing. How fast do you want your snake to be? Do you want your snake to move? What will I say? Once in 1 second. So you can understand, like once in 1 second my snake will move. So it will move one bead in 1 second. So that's actually very slow. So if I have something like on snake speed is equal to 1 and into 1 by snake speed. Okay, why I'm doing 1 by, let me make it to 2. So if I have my snake speed as 2, this means I will be calling the function using this. Actually, what does this thing actually mean? Let me write it down completely. I will be calling, see, this function window.request animation frame only when my seconds is last rendered is greater than my this snake speed. So when I do snake speed is 1 by 2, that means in 1 second my snake will move 2 blocks. You get it? This is my speed. Since I'm working in deep structure, in the grid structure actually, so that means my snake is being called after this animation frame is being called after twice. Basically, after the snake has moved 2 times in 1 second. And if my seconds is last rendered is less than that, I will not call it. Instead, I will return. This is my idea behind this. So that's why if my seconds is last rendered is less than 1, only then, or less than half, only then I'm calling it here. That's my idea here. and but then it is completely stopping. So let's do one thing. Biggest animation frame. Let me put it here. And let me do render. This was better because what happened the last time when we will be requesting our animation frame, calling it only when it is less than this, because earlier when it was happening it wasn't calling at all. Yesterday I had this thing, it was executed wrong. I had put it here, so that would mean that it is again returning back and it is not calling anymore. So that's wrong. So I should be calling it at first window request animation frame, and then after that I will be continuously calling it when only when the seconds is last render is less than that I won't call, because it is normally this the animation frame should be called when it should be called at it is being called at every millisecond. I can't stop that. This is what is happening with the browser itself. I can't stop that. So what I can stop is I can stop whatever functionality I want after that. So what how I am stopping that functionality? I am checking the rendering time. So how many times basically animation frame this seconds is last render is the how many times if my request animation frame in by default does it, by default gets displayed. So when I am checking that if it is less than a particular speed, I will return it. I won't call the next function. Only when the time has increased to more, after that I will request my animation frame. That's all. I will be updating my snake position. I will be updating my foot position. So if you see the render is being called, see when at particular since my snake speed is 2, so it is being called after every half second. Now if you see, if I make it 1, every 1 second it is being called. In case you can understand the difference, in every 1 second it is being called. For 2 it was every half second. If I increase it to what, 10, so it will be very fast. So this is how you can actually change the difficulty level as well. So for higher difficulty level you will simply come here and change the snake speed. You don't need to do anything else. I hope this is actually clear to you. And after this, so basically let's do one thing. For since I have different functionalities here, I have the snake speed, snake thing, and the food thing as well, right? So what we can do is let's create different files for this, because else it will increase, it will become very big. So let me do one thing. Let me change this name. Let me change this name to what, the main game. So I'm making it game.js. So I will add it here as well, game. And basically what will I do? I will have the snake thing in a different file. So there will be something called snake.js. There will be something called food.js. That's the idea behind this. So I will want this snake speed to be in my snake file. So let me have it in my snake file. But the thing is, I also require it here in this file, in the game file. So I need to be able to use this data in this file. And this is where we will be learning another feature, where how we will handle JavaScript files when there are multiple of them, when there are multiple JavaScript files. So I'll be adding a type called module. Let me add another function which is defer. Basically, defer is using defer. What happens? This is not related to this thing. Using defer, what happens that my script, even though it is loaded, it is then called only after my DOM content is loaded. So that's the idea behind it. So that's the need of defer. But for module, why do I use module? Because now I need to use this data here. So that's why I have to use this type of module, and from here I will export. So there are two keywords here. One is export and the other keyword is import. So export means I'm taking this data, I'm making it available to other files. If I don't use export before a particular variable or before a particular function, so basically I can use export anywhere in front of any variable. So I can write export here as well. So this, if I do export function means, so this means this main function is can be accessed somewhere else in a different file. So I'm making this available to outside file by writing export const. Now to access this data within a defined file, in that particular file I need to import this. So export means to make it available and import means to take it from the outside file. So if I don't write, say directly I can access NextSpeed here. NextSpeed can't be accessed here directly. I need to first import it. So import means we have to write it in this format. Import from, I use braces, and then from, I need to write the path of my file. From which file will I be taking? From snake.js. From snake.js. So if you don't write .js, it will still work, but I'm still writing. From there, I am taking snake speed. See, I wrote snake and it got added here. So now it will again work. Render is being called. If I hadn't imported it, let's see what error it would give. So it is saying uncaught error, reference error, snake speed is not defined. So that's why it is being continuously called, because this condition is being throwing an error. So now it is available and it's rendering perfectly. So we have a snake speed of 2. Also we will be also doing two other stuff. So from the snake position should also be updated, and for after updating we need to display it as well. So I will be using in a node enter project this time. We will be thinking it in this way, that we will be first updating our position. Basically I will be since I've thought of this as an entire grid, so I will position my snake here in the middle first. So on updating this, my JavaScript part will get changed. So that means my position will get updated, and then I will use a function named draw to move that snake to that position. So I will be using two things, which will be update and draw. So this is my idea here. So let's have something called function update and another function here. Draw. So let's complete this part. So I will be exporting these as well. So these need to be exported because I will be using these here. Let me make it export function update snake, because there will be something called food as well. So I will be writing update snake dot snake, and the food file will also have the same thing, but right now I won't use it. And here we will be having update. No, it shouldn't be update snake. See, it got automatically imported, but I won't be calling here. Instead, I will be having update and draw. and then in function update I will be calling this update snake. So within this place there is also another thing called update, because I will have something called update food as well. So I'm just putting update here, and another function is draw here. Draw snake. They should be draw snake and update snake. So draw snake and update snake got automatically imported. If it doesn't get imported, we will write it and it will still come. And you can check that whether it is being called. So I will just console log simply like snake updated, and here it will be snake simple. Now if we check here, we'll find that it is, let me go to console. Snake updated and snake done. It is continuously being called. It is being called because you can see it is continuously being called. Let me do it. So our updating and drawing part is done. So now I just need to add this snake now. So how can I do that? So let's look at that, how we can do. Basically, you see, we have just simply updated and drawn. I haven't yet drawn a snake or updated a snake's position on this board. Now board is my board is still empty. So still, like, think of it now in a particular way that we will simply start drawing our snake first. So before updating, obviously we will first draw our snake. So for that, what we can do is, as I told you, I will keep my snake at the middle of my board first. In general terms also, we will just keep it in the middle. So for that, I will have, something called the snake body. The snake body. It was how many? It was 21 rows and 21 columns. So in the middle, let's have it as 11, because it's from 0 to 21. That is 22. That means, so 21 x11 y11. So where was I? Yeah. So we'll be clear. My snake body, first of all, it is in the middle. Now, what I can do is, I need to. So basically, what will I do? I need to add this snake's structure, and also you remember that I have just simply added my background color and everything. So I need to add this data to a div. So my snake body, think of it as it is a div. That's all. So it's a div. So what I can do, I can create elements. Basically, I need to simply dynamically create my element. I'm drawing the snake dynamically. Obviously it's supposed to be done dynamically, because it will keep on changing later. So what will I do? I will do it as font snake element equal to document dot as expected. So create element, to be create element view. Now actually I need to use this thing. Let me do one thing. Basically make it x11 y11 for let us have two let us have uh, a snake of length 2, not just one. So let's call it as x12 and y12. So my snake's position, not 12 12, this is not possible, right? So basically my grid is like this. I will tell you why it is not possible. Let's do this. So let's have two. I will be then doing this new body dot for each of my segment should be present. Do this. I will write this document and this snake element will have a style where it's, so basically I will show it writing down at where it will start. This will, so that means I'm positioning my grid element using grids. This is the best thing. I can directly write whichever grid part I want to put my data in. So if I write at grid row start, I want to put it at row this number 11 or number 12, whatever, then I can simply write that. So if I write this segment dot x, in segment what is it taking? X, this object and this object. So x segment dot x means 11. This taking number 11 and this is my starting row. And my starting column should be for the snake element should be read column start segment dot y. Yes, and I will be appending this as well. Now how will I append this? I need to append it to which one? Index segment, this one. So I need to access this as well. So let me access it here. Wait, let's access the game board here. Make board equal to document dot query selector. What was it? Snakeboard. And with the hashtag. It's an ID. Snakeboard. This snakeboard, I will pass it to update snake. No, I was drawing here, right? So I will be passing it to draw, and in draw snake, I will be taking this snake board, and to this I will append my new child. Append child, it is snake element. Okay. Let's see what's happening here. And so nothing significant happening here because element dot class list. But I need to add, I mean, need to add the styling as well. So in what does class list do? Class list basically our element, our divs can have more than one class. Okay, so that is the reason I'm using class list, because my I'm add to this div I am trying to add that class. So basically I need to add this one, this background color. So to div class equal to I'm providing this snake, and through that my CSS is getting added. So let me add some border to it as well. So what should be the border? 1px solid black simple. So this is the border, and now you see because it was x12 and y11. So if I remove this, it would just be in the middle. And why it can't be x12 and y12? Because my snake never moves like this. A snake, if you have seen on snake the game, it never moves like this. It is always like this and then moves to the right. So I don't can't do that. So it will be snake x12 y11 x13 y11. This is how it normally works. Now let's just see. Now we have just drawn this. We have taken three segments. Let me take another segment here. I haven't added the food part yet, so basically that's why I'm doing it dynamically, statically right now. Later it will be dynamic because how many times food is eaten, that many times segments will be done, and it will start with just one segment. So let's first do it statically because I want to show the updating thing today as well. So for the update part, what we can do, basically, if you look at my snake body, if it moves, when it is moving, so you will see that the earlier the this portion, this one will be taking the position of the earlier one. This one will be taking this one's position, right? So basically, I need to update it as well. So every time it keeps on changing, uh, one the last part of the tail it gets removed. It shouldn't be present at all, and this one should be taking this one's position. This one should be taking this one's position, and this one should be taking whichever way I am going. If someone is going to the right, it should go to the right. That's the idea. So we need to replace. So that means first of all I need to learn a for loop that will run over the length, and this will continue. I will be doing it from the reverse. So since my arrays normally start from 0, so this I won't be doing anything. I will be for the last portion. I will be completely removing it. So I won't be running my thing until the last. So I will be doing it until the second last. So I am doing length minus 2. This one I will be continuing it till 0. And then I minus minus. For this snake body I plus 1, it will be taking the earlier one. So before things will also be that only the part that is being changed. Using why did I use dot dot dot? Because I don't want to affect the others. Only one of them I will be affecting. So I'm doing this thing. If I did only one, it would get affected for the entire thing. This is snake body one like this. It's working here, and then snake body for the first one. Now I will be moving the head. So basically 0. So for 0, if I am trying to move it, so now you say like if I am trying to move my x is which one? X is this, y is this. So if I want my snake body to move to the right, so I need to change the x by 1, and if I move on the y, if I change the y by 1, then it will be moving top or bottom. So let's see that. Let's move it to the right. That's equal to 1. Let me not take the shortcut. Since it is snake body 0 dot x plus 1, and for the y shouldn't be done because my snake doesn't move diagonally. So at a time any one should be changed. Plus 0. Right now we are writing plus 1 and plus 0. Later we will be using our keyboard events because we will be using our arrow keys to move our snake. So we will be taking our keyboard events and seeing that we will be adding or subtracting. Basically the thing is for plus 1 it will be moving to the right, for minus 1 it will be moving to the left. That's the idea here. So let's see what's happening here. Basically now see basically my thing is going downwards, but the earlier portion is also staying here. So what's the problem here? And let's do one thing, see, because it is going down, and see now it is becoming like this. Also when it reaches the end we will be adding another functionality where it will my game will end. It is supposed to end. So instead of doing this, let's move it not downwards but to the sideways. For sideways, let's take the grid row start as y and grid column start as a. Now it will move to the side, and since it is plus 1 it is moving this side, and if it was -1, it will move to the other side. Now also once it is moving, the earlier part is staying. So how is it that possible now? Now I need to like remove one of the things which is here. When I'm drawing the snake board's earlier part should be removed completely. So let me do it to inner HTML empty. So now it will move as it's expected. So now it went to that side and again came this side. So this shouldn't be allowed. And also I need to use the keyboard properties as well. So I need to overcome this as well. This is another thing. So let's see which one we should be doing. Also let's do one thing. Let's move it to the right. Uh, can I show this now? Let's see if we can show this. Let's not continue this one. Let's do one thing. We will be doing the next part. Let's do the next part the next day. It's becoming a lot to take in. I hope. I feel like it will become a lot to take in. So we'll continue till this and then let it go. We will be the next day. What we'll do? We will use our arrow keys to get our input directions, and that way we will be implementing this. So in this case, all you can understand is for +1, it moves upwards. It moves to the left and right like this. And for if my this one is 0 and this one is 1, this will go downwards. You see it moved downwards to the right. And if I am supposed to go upwards, I will be using -1. That is going upwards. So our this thing is working that when we are turning that side, it is rightly working, because when it is turning to the right, because when we let me refresh it, so it is working perfectly. It is not going diagonally or anything. How did it happen? Because we simply changed the last position to this one, and then this one was done manually. So this part will always be the same, because from the second last position, because the last part of the tail will always get vanished. So before the last, so from the second last to the before the first one. So from the second part of my snake body to the second last element of my snake body in terms of the array, it will change and they will keep on swapping. So the last part will be taken to the earlier one like that, and only the first part will go to the desired position. So we won't need to change this part anymore. The next step we will be using arrow keys to change this part. And also we will be doing things like when we are changing the arrow, when we are going to the right, we shouldn't be able to go to the left, because the snake doesn't go U-turn at once. When it is going to the right, it can only go up or down. It doesn't go to the left. If it is going to the top, it can't go downwards. It will first have to go to the right or left, and then it can go downwards. So we need to do that thing as well. So we can do this the next day. And ethical hacking courses, I'm not quite sure about the ethical hacking part. You can raise a ticket on our website to know about this thing. I hope that this workshop thing, I think it's gonna be this weekend on 19th. Is it 19th? I think. I mean Saturday, Sunday. I think so. I'm not quite sure. You can check it. The workshop dates have already been given, so you can check it there. So coming back to this, so whatever how much I have done till now, let me again set up the GitHub repository, and I will send the link here as well. Okay. sure whether I pushed it. So let me set it up for you guys. Pushing it. It remote whether this will be present. Its status. It commit will be what will be the name of my commit? Update snake position according to snake speed. Git push origin master. So this one is done. We'll continue with it the next time. I'm sending this in the chat. In the chat. Yes, I think ethical hacking will be taken by your Sammy said only. So that's all for today. Thank you.